right, good morning, everybody. Big old news that everybody's talking about, so I might as well talk about it too, right? So, PSA has bought SGC.
Adios,
And they're
muchacho.
saying SGC is still going to operate as SGC. But who's going to grade with SGC if it's owned by PSA and a PSA outsells an SGC? Nobody. So, they're essentially going to kill the company, absorb it, and then become just straight PSA is what I'm assuming is going to have to happen. Obviously, they can't overnight make this change that easily. Can you take your SGC card and send it back in for a PSA of the same grade? Probably not. It'd probably have to be regrade. But at this point, the SGC value has to go down. Like, it's already down anyway from a PSA, but now what happens to it? Does it go up because PSA owns them and now the market's like, oh, well, now that there's better companies behind it, it's worth more? That's possible because the group of people that we run with sometimes aren't the sharpest. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm still surprised Fanatics hasn't bought a grading company, to be honest with you. But now that SGC has been gobbled up, does OP boy, is Petey still there? You know, because we like Petey. So I hope Pete does stay there. They get all the graders. Do they have to change the way they grade? Probably not, because they all grade the same way and they lie and tell you they don't, with the exception of Tag, which I saw a video on Tag the other day. But Tag, now it gets bumped up. CGC is number 2 there. I think they were number 2 anyway. But directly competing with PSA is becoming more prevalent as well. So did PSA also do this to try to gain some more market share over a CGC, or with any concern of there's no concern for Tag or Beckett for anything. I mean, Beckett probably hasn't been sold because Beckett owner just is stubborn and doesn't want to sell, so and he don't like money. But I just think that this is interesting. What does this do with everybody that has an SGC code, or, you know, does like a little side deal with them, you know, that doesn't do anything with PSA, because PSA doesn't do a lot of those type of marketing deals with content creators especially. So SGC's been out there on the forefront with that. And where does all that go contractually with people? I mean, obviously SGC's still around, but how easy can you pitch something that's now become worthless in my mind, or is going to get gobbled up? You know, people are like, oh, it's not worthless. Well, SGC is not going to be around much longer. It's going to just be PSA. Biggest benefit to me, hopefully, the SGC place over here in Florida on the other coast becomes a PSA location, and I have a very close place to send cards to get graded. That would be the best benefit for me. I don't grade a lot of cards. I do have cards I want to get graded, but that would be the best instance for me. CGC's, you know, an hour from my house. SGC is probably 2.5 hours from my house. And, you know, that becomes a PSA location for grading, because we grade a lot of cards here in Florida, in the Southeast. A lot of cards. So they could easily have a hub there and run stuff out of that hub. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Everybody's going to have a video on it, probably 2 or 3 or 4. Just want to put mine out there too with my thoughts. That's what I know. I don't know a ton, other than they're saying they're still going to operate as SGC and PSA separately. But once one owns the other, whoever's the hierarchy at some point is going to have to take over and you know, rule the roost. So there's no point in keeping the brand around long term. And I think they're going to see a massive influx of nobody doing the grading with SGC all of a sudden, because of concerns of value and return in price, unless somebody just looking for quick submissions. But where's the value going to go for SGC versus PSA at this point? It's going to be real interesting to see how the market starts to absorb this information and then what they spit out the other end. But that's my 2 cents, guys. Take care.